Angela Brooks, having considered the evidence before this court, you are hereby sentenced to—
No, Your Honor! Before you sentence her, you need to hear the truth.
The courtroom doors slammed open so hard that every head turned. Angela Brooks flinched in her seat. The judge stopped mid-sentence. Victor Brooks slowly turned toward the entrance, his confident smile disappearing as a woman in a navy suit rushed inside, carrying a leather briefcase. Your Honor. The bailiff stepped forward. Ma'am, you cannot interrupt these proceedings. I understand. She was breathing hard. But if this hearing ends today, an innocent woman loses her company, her home, and everything she spent 20 years building. Angela stared at her. Her lips parted. No. The woman looked directly at Angela. For 1 second, the courtroom seemed to disappear. Angela whispered, Maya. Maya Bennett froze. 20 years had transformed the frightened homeless girl Angela once found behind a grocery store into one of London's most respected corporate fraud attorneys. But her eyes were exactly the same. Maya smiled through tears. Hi, Mom. Angela covered her mouth. Victor immediately stood. Your Honor, this is outrageous. She has no standing here. Maya turned toward him. Oh, I have standing. Victor's face tightened. Maya raised the briefcase. And I have something you should be much more worried about. The judge leaned forward. What exactly are you claiming to have? Maya looked at Angela, then at Victor. Proof that this entire case was built on a lie. Whispers exploded through the courtroom. Victor shouted, She's bluffing. Maya's expression hardened. No, Uncle Victor. She placed the briefcase on the table. You've been bluffing for 20 years. 20 years earlier, Maya Bennett had been convinced she would not survive another night. Snow covered the alley behind Martin's grocery store as 11-year-old Maya curled herself around a heating vent. Her thin jacket was soaked. Her hands shook uncontrollably. Then she heard footsteps. Maya grabbed a broken bottle. Stay away. Angela Brooks stopped. She was 38, exhausted, carrying 2 grocery bags after finishing a double shift. She stared at the little girl crouched beside the wall. Put that down, sweetheart. I'm not your sweetheart. Okay. Go away. Angela slowly placed her groceries on the ground. I can do that. Maya watched her suspiciously. Angela pointed toward the broken bottle. But you're holding that thing backward. Maya glanced at her hand. Angela smiled. If you're planning to scare somebody, you should probably hold the dangerous part away from yourself. Maya almost smiled. Almost. Then her expression hardened again. I don't need help. Angela noticed her blue lips. You look freezing. I'm fine. You're shaking. I said I'm fine. Angela didn't move closer. My name is Angela. I don't care. That's fair. She reached into one grocery bag and pulled out a wrapped sandwich. You hungry? No. Maya's stomach growled. Angela raised an eyebrow. Maya looked embarrassed. That wasn't me. Angela nodded seriously. Must have been the wall. This time, Maya almost laughed. Angela placed the sandwich on the ground several feet away. I'll leave it here. Why? Because I bought 2. You're lying. Angela smiled. You always this suspicious? Yes. Angela nodded. Probably kept you alive. That answer surprised Maya. Most adults told her she had an attitude. Angela didn't. She simply picked up her groceries. Maya looked at the sandwich. Wait. Angela stopped. What? Is there mayonnaise? A little. I hate mayonnaise. Angela smiled. Then starving hasn't destroyed your standards yet. Maya finally smiled. Angela sat several feet away while she ate. She didn't ask questions. That made Maya curious. You're not going to ask where my parents are? No. Why? Because if you wanted me to know, you'd tell me. Maya stared at her. My mom died. Angela's smile disappeared. I'm sorry. My dad left before that. How long have you been out here? Maya shrugged. A while. Angela noticed bruises around her wrist. Did somebody hurt you? Maya immediately pulled down her sleeve. No. Angela knew it was a lie, but she also knew pushing too hard might make the girl disappear. So she stood. I have to go home. Maya looked away. Okay. Angela picked up her groceries, walked 3 steps, then stopped. There's a diner on Jefferson. Maya said nothing. I eat breakfast there before work. 7:15. Still nothing. If you're hungry tomorrow, I'll buy pancakes. Maya scoffed. I won't be there. Angela smiled. Good. More pancakes for me. The next morning at 7:12, Maya was standing outside the diner. Angela pretended not to be surprised. "You're early." "I was nearby." "Of course." They ate together. Then again the next day. And the next. Within 2 weeks, Angela learned that Maya loved strawberry milkshakes, hated thunderstorms, could read faster than most adults, and refused to talk about the group home she had run away from. One morning, Angela finally asked, "Why don't you want to go back?" Maya froze. "Because I don't." "Maya, they won't believe me." Angela's expression changed. "Believe what?" Maya pushed her plate away. "Forget it." Angela leaned closer. "I won't forget it." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "There was a man there." Angela went completely still. "He used to come into my room." Angela's jaw tightened. Maya wiped her face angrily. "I told them. They said I made it up because I wanted attention." Angela reached toward her. Maya pulled back. "Don't." Angela immediately withdrew her hand. "All right. I don't want pity." "You're not getting pity." "Then what?" Angela looked directly into her eyes. "You're getting someone who believes you." Maya stopped breathing for a moment. Nobody had ever said that before. Angela continued. "You don't have to tell me anything else until you're ready. But you do not belong behind a grocery store." Maya whispered. "Where am I supposed to go?" Angela hesitated. She had a teenage son at home. She worked 2 jobs. Her rent was overdue. Her bank account had $83. Every logical part of her mind screamed not to say what came next. Angela said it anyway. "Come home with me." Maya stared at her. "What? Just for tonight?" "No." "You'll have your own bed." "No." "A hot shower." "No." "Food." Maya swallowed. Angela smiled. "And no mayonnaise." Maya looked down. "Why are you doing this?" Angela's voice softened. "Because somebody should." That night changed both of their lives. But not everyone welcomed Maya. When Angela's younger brother Victor arrived and saw her sitting at the kitchen table, his expression darkened immediately. "Who is this?" Angela answered calmly. "Maya. I can see she has a name. Why is she here?" "She needed somewhere safe." Victor stared at Angela. "You brought a homeless child into your house." Maya lowered her eyes. Angela stepped between them. "She can't hear you." "I'm counting on it." "Victor." He pointed toward Maya. "You have your own child to worry about. You're behind on rent. You work 14 hours a day. And now you're trying to save strangers?" Maya stood. "I can leave." Angela turned quickly. "No." Victor laughed. "See? Even she understands." Angela faced him. "She's not going anywhere tonight. You don't know anything about her." "I know enough." "You don't know what she's capable of." Maya's face crumpled. Angela's voice became cold. "I know exactly what she's capable of." Victor folded his arms. "Oh really?" Angela looked at Maya. "She survived." Silence filled the room. Victor shook his head. "This will come back to destroy you." Angela replied. "Then that'll be my problem." Victor walked toward the door. Before leaving, he looked at Maya one last time. "This family already has enough problems." The door slammed. Maya whispered. "He hates me." Angela sat beside her. "He doesn't know you. He still hates me. Then he can spend the next 20 years being wrong." Maya looked at her. 20 years. Angela smiled. "If you decide to stay that long." Maya's eyes filled again. "What if I mess up?" "You will." "What if I make you regret it?" "You probably will at least once." Maya laughed through her tears. Angela touched her cheek gently. "But you will never have to earn your place here every day." Maya whispered. "Why?" "Because that's not how family works." 3 months later, Angela began the legal adoption process. Victor hated the idea, but this time he didn't argue. He simply sat inside his car across the street from Angela's apartment and watched Maya laughing through the window. Then he made a phone call. A man answered. Victor said, "I need to know exactly what happens to Angela's property if she dies." The man paused. "Why are you asking me that?" Victor kept watching the apartment. "My sister is making decisions she doesn't understand." "Victor." "What? You sound like you're planning something." Victor smiled faintly. "I'm protecting my family." "You mean protecting yourself?" Victor ended the call. Across the street, Angela tucked Maya into bed for the first time. "You're really staying?" Maya asked. Angela smiled. "That depends." "On what?" "Whether you snore." "I don't." "We'll find out." Maya laughed. It was a sound Angela had never heard from her before. A child laughing without fear. Angela switched off the bedroom light. "Good night, sweetheart." "Angela." Yes. Thank you. Angela leaned against the doorway. You don't have to thank me every day. I know, but I probably will. Angela smiled and closed the door. Outside, snow continued falling. Inside, Maya slept peacefully for the first time in years. Months later, inside family court, the judge smiled warmly. Miss Maya Bennett. Maya looked nervous. Would you like Angela Brooks to become your legal mother? Maya nodded rapidly. Yes. The judge laughed. You'll have to say it clearly. Yes. Angela wiped away tears. The judge turned toward her. And Miss Brooks? Angela smiled. With all my heart. The judge signed the papers. Congratulations. Maya stared at the document. So that's it. Angela nodded. You're officially stuck with me. Maya burst into laughter and threw her arms around Angela. Mom. Angela froze. Maya immediately pulled away. I'm sorry. Angela grabbed her and hugged her tighter. No. Tears rolled down her face. Say it again. Mom. Angela cried openly. That is the most beautiful word I've ever heard. Years passed. Life became stable. Not easy. Never easy. But stable. Angela worked mornings cleaning office buildings. Afternoons at a grocery warehouse. Evenings delivering food. Sometimes she slept 4 hours. Sometimes 3. Every extra dollar went toward Marcus and Maya. One night Maya found Angela asleep at the kitchen table, surrounded by unpaid bills. She quietly placed a blanket over her. Angela woke. What time is it? Almost midnight. You should be asleep. So should you. Angela smiled tiredly. Bills don't pay themselves. Maya picked up one of the envelopes. Can I help? You already do. How? Angela looked at her. You give me a reason to keep going. By 16, Maya had become one of the brightest students in the state. Her teachers constantly praised her. She has an incredible memory. She reads faster than anyone in her class. She argues like a lawyer. One afternoon, the principal called Angela into his office. I've never recommended a student this young for the National Debate Championship. Angela smiled proudly. Maya earned it. She certainly did. Then he hesitated. There is one problem. Angela's smile faded. The travel expenses. He slid a sheet of paper across the desk. Nearly $2,000. Money Angela did not have. That evening Maya walked into the apartment. How was the meeting? Angela forced a smile. It went well. You're lying. Angela laughed softly. You're getting too good at reading people. What happened? Angela handed her the paper. Maya quietly folded it. It's okay. No. It really is. You earned that place. We can't afford it. Angela stood. We will. How? Angela didn't answer. The next morning, the gold necklace left to Angela by her late husband was gone. Maya noticed immediately. Mom. Angela smiled. Looks like you're going to Chicago. You sold Dad's necklace? Angela shrugged. It wasn't doing much sitting in a drawer. Maya's eyes filled with tears. That was all you had left of him. Angela touched Maya's shoulder. No. She smiled. I still have the family he gave me. Maya won the debate competition. Weeks later, a scholarship offer arrived. Harvard. Angela stared at the letter in disbelief. Maya screamed. We did it. Angela laughed. No. She touched Maya's face. You did it. Maya shook her head. We. They hugged. Neither noticed Victor watching from across the street. Years passed. Angela's own life began changing too. She saved enough money to buy a condemned duplex at auction. After work, she painted walls herself. Marcus repaired cabinets. Maya helped with paperwork. Angela rented the property, then refinanced it. She bought another, then another. 3 properties became 7. 7 became 20. Eventually, Angela founded Brooks Property Holdings. She focused on neglected neighborhoods other investors ignored. Affordable housing, commercial redevelopment, construction, municipal contracts. 2 decades after Maya entered her life, Angela controlled a real estate portfolio worth more than $300 million. People in the city called her the woman who never forgot being poor. Her employees loved her because she remembered birthdays. She paid fair wages, helped workers become homeowners, created scholarship programs. Victor watched the empire grow, and each year his bitterness grew with it. One Thanksgiving evening, he finally exploded. So, he sliced his turkey slowly. When are you going to tell her? Angela frowned. Tell who what? Victor nodded toward Maya. That she isn't really family. The table became silent. Maya slowly put down her fork. Angela looked directly at Victor. She is my family. She shares none of your blood. She shares my heart. Victor laughed bitterly. That won't matter when lawyers get involved. Angela narrowed her eyes. What does that mean? Victor leaned back. One day all of this becomes somebody's inheritance. Yes. He looked toward Maya. And you'll hand everything to someone who isn't even a Brooks. Marcus immediately spoke. She is a Brooks. Victor scoffed. She always will be, Marcus continued. She's my sister. Victor shook his head. So everybody's lost their minds. Angela stood. You should leave. Victor smiled. One day you're going to regret choosing strangers over your own blood. Angela stared at him. No, Victor. Her voice remained calm. You will. He slammed the front door behind him. Later Maya quietly collected the plates. Angela walked over. You don't have to clean. Maya struggled to speak. I don't want to be the reason this family fights. Angela gently turned her around. You're not. Then why does Uncle Victor hate me? Angela sighed. Because some people think love is something you divide. Maya looked at her. Angela smiled. But love multiplies. Marcus joined them. He hugged Maya. You're my sister. Maya hugged him back. I love you guys. Angela smiled. We know. Maya eventually graduated from Harvard Law School near the top of her class. She built a reputation in corporate fraud, financial litigation, and complex business disputes. Her work later took her to London, where she became one of the youngest partners at a major international law firm. At her graduation years earlier, the dean had shaken her hand. You're going to change lives. Maya smiled. One life already changed mine. Who? My mom. Meanwhile, Victor had quietly spent years studying Brooks Property Holdings. Its loans, its lenders, its succession structure, its weaknesses. Angela still trusted him enough to allow limited family office access. That became her greatest mistake. Victor discovered that several of Angela's major loan agreements contained reputation and fraud clauses. If Brooks Property Holdings became the subject of credible financial crime allegations, lenders could suspend financing and demand additional collateral. The company's value could collapse. Victor created a shell investment company through intermediaries. His plan was simple. Destroy Angela's reputation. Trigger a liquidity crisis. Force Brooks Property Holdings into a distressed sale. Then use the shell company to acquire key assets for a fraction of their value. Victor didn't merely want Angela ruined. He intended to purchase the empire from underneath her. 6 months later, Angela received a phone call that drained the color from her face. Mrs. Brooks. Yes. This is Special Agent Daniel Harris with the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. Angela stood slowly. How can I help you? We need to speak with you regarding Brooks Property Holdings. What about it? There was a pause. We have a warrant to inspect several financial records. Angela walked toward her office window. 3 black government SUVs had just entered the parking lot. Employees stopped working almost immediately. Angela took a slow breath. Everyone stay calm. She walked downstairs. Agent Daniel Harris stepped forward and showed his credentials. Mrs. Angela Brooks? Yes. We have authorization to seize and copy financial records connected to suspected wire fraud, forged contracts, and undisclosed offshore transactions. Angela stared at him. There must be some mistake. I sincerely hope there is. She stepped aside. You can search anything you need. Harris studied her. You're not calling your attorney first? I have nothing to hide. He nodded. I wish more people answered that way. Investigators spread through the building. Computers, invoices, contracts, hard drives. Everything was copied. Employees watched in stunned silence. Then Angela noticed something strange. Television crews were already arriving outside. She frowned. How did they know? By evening, the story was everywhere. Real estate mogul Angela Brooks under federal investigation. Investors demanded answers. Business partners canceled meetings. Banks suspended financing. Pending projects froze. One longtime investor called. Angela, tell me this isn't true. It isn't. I believe you. Angela exhaled. Then his voice changed. But my board doesn't. The call ended. Angela slowly lowered the phone. Across town, Victor watched the coverage from his office. His assistant looked uneasy. Sir. Victor didn't turn. What? What if she proves she's innocent? Victor smiled. By the time she does, Brooks Property Holdings won't be worth half of what it was yesterday. His assistant frowned. And then, Victor finally looked at him. Then someone buys what's left. Within days, the pressure became unbearable. Lenders invoked emergency review clauses. Construction partners paused contracts. Employees feared layoffs. Protesters gathered outside headquarters. Angela's reputation, built over 20 years, was collapsing in less than a week. Agent Harris returned with several documents. Mrs. Brooks, are these your signatures? Angela studied them carefully. They look like mine. But I never signed them. He nodded. That's what concerns me. You believe me? I believe the evidence is unusual. He placed another file on the table. Whoever created these documents wanted investigators to find them. Angela frowned. What does that mean? It means the fraud may be real. He paused. But the person behind it may not be you. Meanwhile, Maya was in London finishing a corporate negotiation when her phone began vibrating. She ignored the first call, then the second, then the third. 32 missed calls. Most from Marcus. Her heart dropped. She immediately called him. Maya, what happened? You need to come home. Is Mom okay? She says she is. What happened? Marcus hesitated. Turn on the news. Minutes later, Maya stood motionless in her hotel room, watching Angela's face fill the television screen. The headline beneath it read, Real Estate Queen Accused of Massive Fraud. Maya whispered, No. Her assistant knocked. Miss Bennett, the partners are waiting. Maya never looked away from the television. Cancel everything. You have the largest client meeting of the year. My mother needs me. Maya landed in New York the next morning. She didn't go home first. She went directly to meet Agent Harris. Inside a conference room, Daniel spread files across the table. We're looking at forged contracts, fake transfers, offshore accounts, and manipulated internal records. Maya studied them silently. 20 minutes passed. Then she looked up. You're asking the wrong question. Daniel leaned back. What question should we be asking? Who benefits if Brooks Property Holdings collapses? We've looked at competitors. Look closer. He watched her carefully. Family. Maya said nothing. That evening she finally walked through Angela's front door. Angela looked up. Maya. Neither moved. Then Angela burst into tears. My baby. Maya ran into her arms. You should have called me. I didn't want you throwing away your career. You're my mother. Angela held her tighter. I thought you'd lose everything you worked for. Maya smiled. You taught me that family is part of what I worked for. Marcus joined them. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Then Maya pulled back. Mom. Yes. Tell me everything. Angela spent nearly 2 hours explaining the investigation. The forged documents. The frozen loans. The accusations. The ruined deals. The signatures. The sleepless nights. Maya listened carefully. Then she asked, Who had access to your digital signature? Angela thought. My accountant. Anyone else? Some executives. Family. Angela hesitated. Victor. Marcus slowly looked toward Maya. Maya asked another question. Did Uncle Victor know about your loan agreements? Yes. Your succession plan? Yes. Your distressed asset structure? Angela frowned. He helped review some of it years ago. Maya closed the file. I need to know something else. What? If your company collapsed tomorrow, who could afford to buy its assets? Angela shook her head. I don't know. Maya looked at Marcus. That's what I'm going to find out. The next morning, Maya began reviewing old corporate records. Not as a detective, as a corporate fraud attorney. She searched for ownership structures, related companies, unusual creditors, shell entities. Then she found one. Crown Meridian Capital, a company created only 8 months earlier. Its directors were anonymous. Its listed office was a mailbox. But it had already begun contacting 2 of Angela's lenders about purchasing distressed Brooks property debt. Maya stared at the screen. Marcus. He walked over. What? Someone was ready for Mom's collapse before the investigation even started. Marcus frowned. Who owns it? That's the question. Maya worked backward through incorporation records, banking documents, and intermediary filings. Eventually one name appeared repeatedly. Not Victor's. A longtime associate named Leonard Price. Marcus frowned. Who is he? Maya knew immediately. Uncle Victor's college roommate. She met Agent Harris that afternoon. This alone isn't enough, he said. I know. So what do you want to do? Maya slid another sheet toward him. Make him nervous. Daniel raised an eyebrow. How? Maya smiled faintly. We let Victor believe we found the original forged contract files. What happens then? If he's innocent, nothing. And if he isn't, he'll try to clean up whatever we haven't found. 2 days later, word quietly reached Victor that investigators had discovered metadata linking the forged contracts to an internal company server. Victor panicked. That evening, he called Leonard Price. Federal agents were already listening under warrant. Victor said, "We need to move everything." Leonard answered, "I thought you said the files were clean." "They found something." "What?" "I don't know yet." "So what do we do?" Victor lowered his voice. "We meet tonight." That was exactly what Maya had hoped for. At 11:40 p.m., Victor drove to an abandoned warehouse outside the city. Leonard was already waiting. So was the document forger. Victor slammed the door behind him. "You said the signatures were impossible to trace." "They are." "Then explain why federal investigators are asking about metadata." The forger looked nervous. "I told you using Angela's real digital signature token was risky." Leonard snapped. "You told us it was necessary." Victor paced. "Enough." He pointed toward a metal cabinet. "Destroy everything." The forger hesitated. "What about the payment records?" "All of it." Outside, Agent Harris listened through his headset. Maya stood beside him. Daniel looked at her. "That's enough." Federal agents rushed the warehouse. FBI. Nobody moved. Victor spun around. Leonard tried to run. Agents tackled him before he reached the exit. Victor shouted, "This is a misunderstanding." Daniel Harris walked inside. "No, Victor." He held up the warrant. "This is called probable cause." 3 weeks later, the fight had moved to court. Victor's attorneys challenged the seizure of evidence and attempted to block prosecutors from using critical records. If they succeeded, Angela could still lose control of Brooks' property holdings before the fraud case was fully resolved. That was the hearing Maya raced across the city to reach. The hearing where everything had begun. The courtroom doors slammed open. Every head turned. Angela flinched. The judge stopped mid-sentence. Victor slowly looked over his shoulder as Maya stepped inside, carrying a leather briefcase. "Your Honor." The bailiff moved toward her. "Ma'am, you cannot interrupt these proceedings." "I understand." She struggled to catch her breath. "But if this hearing ends today, an innocent woman loses her company, her home, and everything she spent 20 years building." Angela stared at her. "No." Maya looked directly at her. "Hi, Mom." Angela covered her mouth. Victor stood. "This is outrageous. She has no standing." Maya turned toward him. "Oh, I have standing." She lifted the briefcase. "And I have something else you should be much more worried about." The judge narrowed his eyes. "What exactly are you claiming to have?" Maya placed the briefcase on the evidence table. "Proof that this entire case was built on a lie." Victor shouted. "She's bluffing." Maya looked at him. "No, Uncle Victor." She opened the briefcase. "You've been bluffing for 20 years. Inside were records connecting Crown Meridian Capital to Victor. Bank transfers. Internal access logs. Digital signature records. Warehouse surveillance. Recorded calls. Payments to the forger. And the shell company documents proving Victor intended to acquire Angela's distressed properties after destroying her company." Maya addressed the court. This was never an investigation into a woman who built an empire through fraud. She turned toward Angela. It was a conspiracy to destroy a woman who built one honestly. Victor's attorney stood. "Objection." The judge looked at him. "On what grounds?" He hesitated, then slowly sat down. Maya walked toward Victor. "For years, you said this was about inheritance." Victor stared straight ahead. "You said my mother forgot her blood." Silence. "You said she gave away what belonged to family." Victor said nothing. Maya moved closer. "But this was never really about money, was it?" Victor's jaw tightened. "You didn't hate my mother because she became successful." Silence. "You hated her because 20 years ago she chose a frightened little girl over your approval." Victor suddenly stood. "She chose you over her own blood." The courtroom went silent. Angela's eyes filled with tears. Victor pointed toward Maya. "She brought you into our family like you belonged there." Angela slowly stood. "She did belong there." Victor looked at her. "You chose her." Angela's voice trembled. Yes. Victor stared at her. Why? Angela looked toward Maya. Because she needed someone. Victor laughed bitterly. She wasn't your daughter. Angela's eyes filled completely. She became my daughter the day I decided she would never sleep on another sidewalk. Maya struggled not to cry. Victor shook his head. You ruined this family. Angela answered softly. No. She looked directly at him. You did. The judge struck the gavel. Order. Agent Harris later testified. The warehouse recordings were played. Victor's own voice filled the courtroom. Destroy everything. Then another recording. When Brooks' property collapses, Crown Meridian buys the assets. The room went silent. Victor slowly lowered his head. His attorney leaned toward him and whispered, We're finished. The criminal case proceeded. Victor eventually pleaded guilty to conspiracy, wire fraud, forgery, obstruction, and related financial crimes. Leonard Price and the document forger cooperated with prosecutors. Brooks' property holdings was cleared. The frozen financing was restored. Angela's investors returned. And the shell company Victor created was dismantled. 6 months later, Brooks' property holdings was stronger than before. Every employee laid off during the crisis was rehired with full back pay. Angela declined most interviews. Instead, she and Maya opened a non-profit foundation dedicated to helping homeless children find permanent families and legal advocates. During the opening ceremony, a little girl walked toward Maya. Were you really homeless? Maya knelt beside her. Yes. Were you scared? Every day. What changed? Maya looked across the courtyard toward Angela. One person decided to see me instead of walking past me. The little girl turned toward Angela. Thank you. Angela smiled. No, sweetheart. She gently placed a hand on Maya's shoulder. Thank her. The child looked confused. Why? Angela's eyes filled with pride. Because she proved one act of kindness can change generations. That evening, after everyone left, Angela and Maya sat together on the front steps. Children were still laughing in the courtyard. Angela whispered, You know, people keep saying you saved my empire. Maya smiled. Didn't I? Angela shook her head. My buildings will be gone one day. My company will be gone one day. She took Maya's hand. But you. Her voice broke. You're the greatest investment I ever made. Maya leaned her head against Angela's shoulder. And you're still the greatest blessing I ever received. For several seconds, they simply sat together. 20 years earlier, Angela had given Maya a sandwich, a warm bed, and one sentence she desperately needed to hear. I believe you. 20 years later, Maya had returned the gift. Not by saving Angela's money. Not by saving her company. But by proving that Angela had been right all along. Family was never only about blood. Sometimes family was the person who stayed when everyone else walked away. If Angela's choice touched you, tell us in the comments. Would you have opened your home to Maya that snowy night? And if you believe kindness can return to us in ways we never expect, subscribe for more powerful stories of family, betrayal, justice, and second chances.